Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is Talking Point on Canal Mbanga Première, and we are glad to have you on this very first edition, English edition of the program on Talking Points. We get to debate on controversial happenings in today's society in a bit to provide you with the right information and knowledge to make informed choices of life. And so today we will be looking at issues relating to career choices, given that making a career is an important aspect of life, especially as the September 6th school resumption date for the 2021-2022 academic year draws closer, wherein students who have emerged successful in the GCE advanced level will be presented with an opportunity to make final career choices that would carry them all through their lifetime. So there is this tendency of parents getting to influence or getting to impose a certain career choice on their children, perhaps because such parents had long admired or had long wished to develop themselves or develop skills in that particular career, but for one reason or the other they failed doing that, and when it's the time or the turn of their kid, they tend to impose these career choices on them. On the other hand, kids, maybe some kids have passion or have long developed passion in a particular field, but then they might lack concrete life experience to influence or aid them with a correct or a concrete career choice. So today we'll be debating on whether or not parents should make career choices for their kids, or kids should be left to decide on what they intend doing. What do you think about that, ladies and gentlemen? We will be doing this together with some talented gentlemen who happen to be teachers here in the town of Mbanga. So they will be debating together with me on this issue so that you get to be educated on it, and of course you have the right knowledge to decide on the fate of your children. We will get to discover our crew members or our panelists after this transitional break. Thanks for staying with us. It is Talking Point, and like I said, today we are looking at whether or not parents should influence the career choices of their kids. With me in the studio, it's two gentlemen. By my right, I have Mr. Franklin Nzenyu. I hope I got the name correctly.
Mr. Franklin
Nzenyu. Okay, we are glad to have you on set.
Thank you very much, Madam Susan.
All right, on my left, I have Mr. Kande Francis Ngome. Thanks for honoring our invitation.
Thank you very much, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here, and I agree that what we see here today should actually edify the public so that what is on air, the people should have the real information as to what to do to their children.
The pleasure is all ours, Mr. Ngome. And ladies and gentlemen, these are the persons who will be taking us through today's topic, which is choosing a career choice. Should parents make career choices for their children, or should it be left on the kid to determine what he or she wants to study? We'll begin with you, Mr. Franklin Nzenzenyu. You are for the fact. Okay, so should parents make career choices for their kids, or should kids be allowed to make the choices themselves?
Good afternoon, dear listeners. Well, I'm here to talk about parents should make a career decision for their children. And looking at it first, we have to know who is a parent and who is a child and what is a career.
Okay, we'll get to you. So you are for the fact that parents should make career choices for their kids. Exactly. All right, so to you, Mr. Francis, what do you think about this issue? Should parents make career choices for their kids, or should kids be allowed to make career choices for themselves?
Actually, Susan, I will have a different point of view as per what Mr. Franklin has said. I think that making career choices is actually an idea of the child.
Okay.
But then it is not, a child needs assistance to make this decision. It's a tough decision, and it's a decision that you are going to live with it throughout your life, so you need to be careful. So the child should be the one to make the choice, but there are other people who are going to assist the child in making this choice. As the program unfolds, I'm going to tell you
Why, okay, and why a child. All right, so Mr. Franklin, can you tell us why you are saying that parents should be the one to make a career choice for kids? Like, is a kid to go through this career? Is a kid, or is the child who understands himself, is a child who knows his ability? But then why are you saying that parents should make career choices for their kids other than the kids themselves?
Well, Madam Susan, this topic is really a good topic for the society, because most people out there, they don't actually know the career, how to actually bring out those criteria to make career. But now you turn to discover that parents are out there to guide children, and it is an obligation for parents to do what? To provide a good education for what? For their children. And they best know their children.
Okay.
And in this aspect,
so parents know their children more than the children themselves. Is that what you are saying?
Actually, Madam Susan, parents know their children. I don't think that there's a parent out there that don't really know his or her child.
So you are saying another person can know another human being more than the human being himself?
A child, when we talk about a child,
yes,
a child is somebody below 18
years.
And we should not be talking a child here mistaken with the concept of adulthood and adolescenthood.
So you think a 17-year-old child does not know what is good for him?
A 17-year-old child cannot actually make a decision for himself.
Mr. Franklin, please,
Yes,
we should not guide people here.
Okay.
You cannot tell me that a parent knows a child more than the child knows him or herself. It's not possible. You can see that even us in school, parents have met us in school where a parent may think that this is what he knows about the child, but the child is something different. So you cannot actually say that a parent knows the child.
What do you think? Why should children be allowed to make career choices for themselves?
Well, I would not dive into telling you why children should make career choices for themselves. Well, I'm not first of all told you what career is.
Okay.
You need to understand. So when we talk about a career is what you do to earn a living and how you advance
in that particular field
aspect.
Okay.
So you see that a career now is a lifelong activity whereby which includes different work that you are going to perform in that occupation that you are doing. So let's take for example, if you are a teacher, for example, in the teaching you will have to you will not actually be doing only be doing the actual teaching in the classroom. There are other aspects that builds up that career. For example, you are going to mark papers. Maybe you go mark the GCE. You are going to involve yourself in sporting activities. You are going to do other activities. So in that case, you have all what you need to build up. That is what you call
a career.
I want us not to mix up things here. There is a difference between a career and a job.
No.
Okay, so why should we'll get to you, Mr. Franklin, Mr. Francis. So why should a child be allowed to make the choice over what he or she will be ending a living on for the rest of his life?
Thank you very much. Just like I've said, a child is a child should make these choices because it is the child who is going to live these experiences. Okay. For example, the various
steps or activities
that is going to perform in that career, he is the one to live it. And so if you ask, if a parent forces a child to go into those activities, you are going to discover that at one point in time that child is going to be frustrated.
Okay.
He's going to be frustrated.
Please, I'll differ with that your statement, because you are trying to deviate from the issue of a child. What actually we are saying now is somebody who is not a child. And when we talk of a child here, we are talking of somebody who has nothing, or no understanding on how to take what decision.
Okay, so are you canceling
I'm canceling his point of view that the children should allow parents should allow children.
Okay,
to do
Mr.
what?
Franklin, are you aware of the right that every human being has a right to choice and to what he or she desires?
Yeah,
you have the right to your choices,
yes, but
irrespective of whether you are a child or an adult.
Parents are out there to do what? To guide their children, to protect their children, to give a happy life for their children. I don't think there is a parent out there who will not give what the best for his or her child. Parents are the brain winners of their children. So what they have the responsibility to educate the child. They have the responsibility to look further to actually see what is good for that child. Okay, so in situations where the best, a parent's best may not fit in the child's passion, how can you handle that? Now, when we talk of that aspect now, if a parent is a parent who takes care of a child, who actually knows what is good for the child, you will not tell me that your child that you are with, all through, that you have a good relationship with that child, you will not know what is good for that child. So, Mr. Francis, what can you say about that?
Well, when I listened to my co-panelist, I think what he's saying actually is not wrong, but we should not mix up things. Okay. The fact that a child is, if you say that he should not confuse, parents should not confuse between helping a child and making a choice for the child. This is something different. And one danger, I also do guidance counseling. Okay. I am, apart from being a teacher, I'm also a guardian counselor. And professionally, when you are on counseling with a client, yes, it can be a child, it can be anybody. What you do is that you only help the child or help the person to have information that will make him take informed decisions. So I think the role of the parent is to assist the child. So when you say assist, what do you mean? When I say assist, in this case, in the aspect of making career choices, so what do you mean by assisting? What I mean by assisting is like giving some help to a child make those choices. What help are you talking about here? It is not you to make the choice for the child. For example, a parent can assist the child in the way of maybe one thing that I want to make is that parents should always avoid making their children to be like them. It's a very big mistake. Why do you say so? Because another person cannot become another person. Please, my dear, I am me, my child is him. So we should not like maybe make you want to make your child to be. We have seen situations. Excuse me, my brother, you speak. We have seen situations where children are forced into professions. Okay. In school, I've seen teachers who will tell you that they only forced me in this thing, and this is not what I wanted to do. My parents only forced me to do it. And today, the child who suffers the effect is the child that person is teaching, because there is nothing. He doesn't even have interest in the thing. So because I have seen medical doctors who have become pastors today after the parents have spent huge sums of money for them to become medical doctors, and they end up abandoning the thing after they have been certified medical doctors, and then you see them becoming pastors. So you are saying children should be allowed to make choices relating to their careers. So Mr. Francis, please, Mr. Franklin, rather. Mr. Ngome. So can you give us some points to support the fact that parents need to make career choices for their kids? No, parents serve as an influence. Parents have a vital influence on the child's decision because they see from afar. Why do I say they see from afar? They are in the society and they watch what is happening. Okay. So if they watch what is happening, they will not want their children to grow up and make the same mistake they made years ago. If you look what is happening in the society now, is because parents are allowing children to make decisions for themselves. So and it is leading the children into confusion. So what's happening in the society? The society is not progressing
Because when you look countries out of Africa, when parents happen to guide the children, give the children what the children needed at the base, the children, the country is doing well. Because the foundation starts when the child is still teenage. So you cannot wait for a child to for a child to grow up and reach 20 years, and you want to develop the mind of that child when it is already fixed.
So, Mr. Francis, are you saying if a set parent, Mr. Frank, are you saying when a set parent, if a set parent had developed desires some years back to be a lawyer, for example, but then for one or two reasons he could not meet up with his dreams, and now that he has a child, that parent should like influence that child to be a lawyer?
Good parents don't influence the child to follow their personal dreams, which they did not accomplish.
So what do good parents do?
Good parents, they follow what their children are portraying.
Okay.
The skills they are developing. Because a teenage child, you will start seeing how the child is manifesting some kind of skills, and you start wondering, what can I do for this child? This child is good in this particular direction, and from there you start bringing that child towards those skills. And when that child reaching a certain level, the skills are already in the child, that the child can stand in the society and say, I am what I am today because my parents gave me the best assistant in my life. There are children out there that they stand and praise their parents for guiding them. There are children out there who stands and praise their parents for giving them a good life. I get it. When you look at it now, you see children, they follow the crowd. Because my friend is doing this, let me do this. Look like what is happening. There are unemployed people or graduates who are out there. Doesn't mean that they did not study. They studied. But because they make a wrong decision in university by choosing a different direction which they are not good in, because their friends are there, they come back, they are unable to do what? To do something for themselves.
Okay.
So my dear colleague, you see that what children are at times are not good to take decisions because they lead to confusion.
Thanks for your contributions.
Choices,
yes.
There are even 4 steps. There are even 4 stakeholders that I might point out.
Okay.
The first is the parent. I am not denying the fact that parents should not have something to offer as far as choosing the career of the child is. But I'm saying that the sole responsibility of the
rest on the shoulders of the child.
So there are 4 stakeholders that I would say. First is the parent, then you have the teacher in school, and then you have the school guardian counselor.
Okay. So what are the different roles of these persons you've just highlighted? Who needs to be doing what?
Good. Let me just follow through the way I wanted to present.
Okay.
Now, in that aspect, I have defined, I have made us to understand that in career, it is a whole lot of activities you are going to be doing in the process of maybe carrying on a particular profession.
Yes.
That's the career. It's a lifetime issue. And so, one thing that parents must understand is that they should not fall into a situation where their children will turn around tomorrow to blame them. That is very important.
Yes, because we have had many cases where a child will say, I know one even do me the thing. Now my papa forced me.
But the same children out there, they still say, I thank God for my parents.
Yes.
They still praise their parents.
Yeah,
and the majority do praise their parents for few do condemn their parents.
Because their parents made them choices. It's because their parents orientated them well. It's because their parents gave them good education. It is because their parents gave them good orientation that made them to have good career choices. It is because their parents gave them good opportunities. That is the reason. And not because their parents chose them.
Please, before you continue, when a child, I get it, you are now crossing above what we are talking about a child. Because a child is somebody with a low teenage maturity and
okay. So, Mr. Frank, are you saying after 18 years?
After 18 years, you are not still a child.
You should be allowed to make this. But now, looking at our educational systems today and the ages, you see, a child of 17 years is already in the university. So what should that child do? Should the child sit and wait until 19 before going to the university so he could be allowed to make...
No. One, the children have the right to be educated, and the parents have the responsibility to do what? To provide the best education for the child. Are you getting? Parents look at what? The schools, they provide the education because they want their they educate their children.
Okay, Mr. Frank,
they want the best for their children.
Are you aware that every child or every human being has a particular dream? You have a child, right? And even when you were a child, you have your dreams. So if parents have to make career choices for their kids, what happens with the child's dream?
The child's dream will still be attained.
How?
The child's dreams will still be attained.
So what if my dream is to be a lawyer and my parents are saying I should be a medical doctor? So how will I handle that?
If a parent is saying that a child should be a medical doctor, when that child does not portray the skills to be a medical doctor, which means that that parent is giving what? The wrong career choice for the child. A parent
and that is what I'm saying, that parents should not do that.
That is why we are saying that what there should be a good relationship between a child and a child. What are you saying?
Yes.
What are you saying?
Excuse me, let me.
They afford this, please.
Mr. Frank.
Let me make this point.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can we just take to order? And we are talking about career choices. Just as you can see, it's a heated debate, or is seated here in the house. Remember, we are trying to bring to you education. We are trying to provide you with the right knowledge so you make informed choices relating to careers. All right. So right now we will be hooking up with Mr. Francis. Will be coming back to you. So before the little transition, Mr. Frank was saying that parents, or was still maintaining his stand that parents should be the one to make career choices for their kids. Meanwhile, you were talking about the different roles of each stakeholders. You highlighted that there are 4 stakeholders involved. According from your opinion, of course, you are talking here, you are giving your own opinion. So what should be the role of a parent towards the career choice of the child?
Susan, before I get back to your question, let me come back to one thing about Mr. Frank. Please, let it not, we are trying to give information out there to parents.
Yes.
It should not be as if it's an argument. We are instead arguing instead of
so it's not a fight.
Information out there. So now I read an article, and that article was written by what they call one poll study. It was actually done in the US.
Okay.
That says that a child starts making career choices as early as 5.5 years.
Okay. Mr. Francis, Mr. Frank, hope you are noting.
It is, that is a study, scientific study that was conducted. And they say that in the United States of America, and I believe that even here in Africa, our children have wonderful talents that they can start exhibiting even at the early age. So coming back to your question, I was saying that according to me, I can identify 4 stakeholders that are involved in making career choices of a child. There is 1, the parent. There is 2, the child. There is 3, the teacher who teaches the child in school. And then there is also the school guardian counselor. Now, what is the role of the parent in this aspect?
Yes.
The parents have the responsibility to make their children discover, to help their children discover their passion. What do I mean by helping the children discover their passion? As your child is growing up, actually you are observing the child. You know what that child is interested on, and from there it can help you to see how you can give that child the best in that his passion. Because one thing that will lead to your career, to the best career that suits you, is what you have a passion in. That's what you can do.
Talking about that, Mr. Francis, so what if a child is exhibiting or showing interest in a music-related field? I'm not saying music is bad or it's wayward, but then looking at the Cameroonian society, do you really think encouraging children to build careers in music really help the future?
for the child or for the parent? Or
For the child,
society?
a career is for the child.
You were, why we came to this studio, you were just playing the music of Stanley Eno.
Yes.
Has it not made a career out of that?
It has made, but looking at the Cameroonian society, how many artists are really making a good living from music career?
I can
So,
countless.
okay, so you are saying any field or any career a child shows interest in, the parents should allow.
It's not stealing.
Okay, so the parents should allow that child to
No,
forge
assist
ahead or
the
to
child.
assist the child
Assist
grow,
the child.
even if that career is not like fruitful enough in the society, or
It may not be fruitful to the parent. Let me please.
I'm saying in the society, because looking at the Cameroonian society, we know that there are certain fields that may not really pay off that much, and of course every career should be able to land one with at least a square meal on the table. So if your child is exhibiting interest or showing interest in a field which you that parent knows that tomorrow, if you allow this child excel in this field or continue in that particular career, that child may end up coming back to you for feeding money.
Okay.
So what can you do? How
Now-
can you really
now,
handle that? Do you still
Let
say
me tell you,
parents should allow their kids choose?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me answer that. In a school system, there are different subjects. Even in school, they teach music. Now, there is another article that I read somewhere where they say that where children wanted to write end of course exam, and there says a school principal who wrote a letter to parents and said that you should know that in a school there are some mathematicians whose literature knowledge has nothing to do with them. There are some footballers who do not have anything to do with physics. There are musicians who do not need anything in mathematics. There are engineers who don't need history knowledge. That is an article. What does that tell you? It tells you actually that even if the problem we have is that when a child is exhibiting some interest in something, and it is you as a parent who do not see that this aspect that this child is exhibiting is not good, but to the child that is what his spirit is leading him to. And at the end of the day, if you know that that thing is not good, what I'm not saying that parents should assist. The assistants that come in, just like Mr. Frank said, the parent can see far. Now, what do you need to do? You will not come and tell that child that this thing you are doing like this is not good. Stop it, stop. You are using
Okay, so what should you do?
What you do is that you now see how you can give that child, counsel that child at the level of the parent. Try to make the child understand. I don't know the right word I can use, but what I'm trying to say is that you should not bully at the child. It is obvious that maybe somehow the child may be going the wrong direction, which you know, and the child thinks that what he or she is doing is bad, is good. I beg your pardon. So in that case, I am thinking that you should have different methods to assist that child.
All right, thanks so very much. And so, Mr. Frank, what can you say are some of the advantages of parents getting to make career choices for their kids? Are there any advantages?
One of the advantages, there are a lot of advantages.
Okay, a lot.
A lot of advantages, but I will cite only a few.
Okay.
But because one of the advantages is that what? When parents make career choices for their children, it reduces what? Dependency ratio. It reduces dependency ratio.
How?
How does it reduce dependency ratio? Parents looked best opportunities for their children. The society is advancing, and there is no parent out there that will not want to adapt to the advancement of the society. When you look now like this, there is industrialization coming out that is already dominant in the market.
Digitalization.
Yes, and digitalization. And you look at it that parents now are doing their best to do what? To enroll their children, I can say, into the field, so that tomorrow they should not be what? They should not come back again and still depend on them. At first, you study history, general education, but now you discover that there is the technical and commercial that has already come out, that most parents now, even though they don't still yet know about this section of education that is providing bread for the family, But the few that know, you discover that they are sending their children out, children there. Because what? When you start building the child up from the teenage, providing those adapt by putting the child to the right opportunities, the child comes out and be the best in the society.
Okay, so you are saying parents make career choices based on experience and
based on experience and opportunities.
Okay.
And also, parents make career choices for their children on the expectation they have. A parent will have high expectation, but because he was unable to reach that level, he will do what? He will do all possible means to do what? To beat his chest to provide that level to his child.
Okay.
And now, for him to do that, he has to start from what? From a childhood, so that when the child is reaching at a certain level, the child has already what? Adapt the skill. And that's why you see that children who respect their parents and accept what the parents are telling them tends to appreciate later on, even though they were criticizing, they were running away from it.
All right, and so Mr. Francis,
Yes.
what are the disadvantages? What are some disadvantages, or what would you say are the disadvantages of parents getting to make career choices for their kids other than the kids themselves?
Okay, yeah. I will still go back to what Mr. Frank said.
Okay.
Because you see, he is bringing that notion of parents thinking that their children should be an extension of them. What do I mean by that? I am not totally against, I am insisting on the word that the responsibility of making a choice rests on the child. But parents have a role to play. We shouldn't confuse it. Okay. Parents have a role to play. This parent, all what he has been saying is how parents can assist their children to make career choices.
So what are the disadvantages?
So the disadvantage is that, first of all, it can lead to regret. If you influence your child to make career choices, if you make a career choice for your child, beg your pardon, one thing is that if it backfires tomorrow, you'll be the one to blame. The child, and I cannot imagine a parent standing the blame of a child. It is frustrating. And for a child to tell you that it is you who made, and that's why while we are doing counseling, we don't make we just guide you on how to arrive at, you make the decision yourself. We assist you. That's what the parents should be. No.
Please, let me come there. Let me come because a counselor is a parent.
It should not be
a counselor is a parent.
A counselor might not necessarily be a parent. An external influence.
It is an external influence, but is somebody who with experience, who that knows what is good. The child is coming to you are counseling that child. You are counseling the child because the decision with the child took was not favorable, and the child now is seeking for what?
No, the child is not coming to you because he took a decision and failed.
Who will take a decision that favors and seek out for counseling? Who will take a good decision that is favorable? I get it, and will seek out for counseling. How many people?
That is why we are making errors. Counselors are professionally trained individuals. That is their role. That's their job.
So, are you saying counselors should rather make career choices?
No.
Okay.
I am saying that is one of the people who are assisting the child to take a decision. So, one of the points I was given was that it was a blame. It was regret.
Yes, regret.
Number two is that when parents make career choices for their children, the next disadvantage there is that it makes the children not to live their dream, and by extension that can affect society. Why? Because take for example a teacher who is forced to teach, who is forced to go into teaching, will not find job satisfaction in that profession, and what happens? That teacher cannot produce. The output will not be there.
Okay.
Take for example a medical doctor who is pushed to become a medical doctor because the parent owns the father owns a hospital. And the father wants that if he dies, the child should take over the hospital. It can lead to frustration. That hospital can crumble because that is not the passion for that child. That child will just be there because you have forced him and will not be will not have job satisfaction. And when you are not there tomorrow, that organization will fall.
My dear colleague, please. when you say the child, a father imposed maybe guiding a child to be a doctor because when he dies, the child takes over.
Yes.
Now, you have to bear with me that in the society there are born talented people and they are trained talented people. We have
don't bear with you. Don't say that.
We have born leaders and we have trained leaders.
Yeah.
I don't bear with you.
We have born leaders and we have trained leaders.
That's what you are saying.
I get it. And now, for you as a trained leader, is that they cannot use you. A parent cannot use a harsh method on you and you accept the training, because as a parent that you use a soft
you have not
please let me come down. I want to come up with something. I'm coming up with something which, when you look the way parents have to make career choices for their children, first they start by impressing a child, making the child to know that he belongs somewhere, so that the child can be able to open up to them. And when the child open up to them, they see from what that child can, and they drill the child into
that
it.
Is what I'm that is the assistance
right.
I am talking about.
Gentlemen,
it is not choice, it is assistance. Don't confuse between assistance and choice.
I'm grateful for your contributions, but then I beg that we go equally have a feel or go take the views of the public regarding this issue, because Gaston Masso, when sampling the opinions of the population of Mbanga regarding this issue, given that it's a very tropical one, so we'll get to listen to the views of the Mbanga population on what they think, their own opinion, their thought on whether or not parents should choose career choices for their kids. So after which, when we come back, we'll be looking at the steps involved or some factors that needs to be taken into consideration before making a career choice. So let's go over for the opinions.
Normally, Peking, they grew up from my hand. I don't know how that Peking they grew. I know the way they perform. I get that full right for know how to form that Peking, for form the branch. Next to that, the other assistant for the Peking, where if he help me, I teachers them, they can help the Peking. They help me and the teachers them, we can help the Peking for know which way if he do way if he help me. But the performance, he results them for a pocket. Sometimes if he play a part. So now the three factors in that, me, the teachers, and your results, the Peking of it impose. Although if you impose one way or the other, I hear for the Peking, but now me, the teachers, and the performance, we must be in accordance with the branch we can do. It don't grow from my hand. It grow, I take it again for your teachers them, from primary school right up to secondary school. When you reach from 5, now you want to divert, whether you want to do art or science or technology or whatsoever. Now we, teachers and parents, you know how they don't grow up. And the performance for your report card, we can make that be what you like.
I think the parents will choose the one way people will follow. Because bad feel long past speaking. I get experience where people don't get that. I know the one way people pay people tomorrow or not. But if it's not picking way, if you discover pay teaching them, and where they see where the person in the world, in the other place of the world, the picking pay give a suggestion for bad, they may buy LS to do some match.
Picking way go school where they choose the subject where you like them. Now it's the same must choose them because now you know which way if you do well for the subject, name not the parents. Because parents name now go to school, now they begin to go to school. So must hear now for the picking which way you don't choose them. Thank you.
I think that picking must choose your own branch because after school now you go work for them brain where you don't choose. But if picking they again small, because you not get a sense for choose your own branch, your papa or your mama fit choose that branch. When time we begin go grow, you go see if brain where he mama or he papa don't choose, he fan for you, and he go with you. If he not fan, except for other level, if he make again other choice.
My own point of view, I think the student should be the one to choose what he or she wants to do in college. Because for example, in the future, if the child gets frustrated, the child might accuse the parents of not directing him or her towards the right direction. So I prefer the student choosing what to do in college rather than the parents choosing for them. And on the other hand, concerning the fact that the parents should choose for the child, well, as a child, when growing up, your parent might see the good side of you, what you're good at doing, and the parent may say, this is what I think you're good at doing, so you should do that. Well, it's after all, but really it's good for the students to choose, not the parents, because the child knows what's best for him and what he or she can do better.
The two sides, but nowadays parents see how Pekin they grow, how the Pekin they come up, and he come up with a good orientation. And in school we get with the guardian counselors. Parents will tell Pekin say the Pekin also say be good for this kind of subject, and if you be this kind of person. I mean, with that kind of